Welcome back, folks, for a new tank review, and today we'll cover the IS-3A, the Tier 8 premium Russian heavy tank. I know, it's a month late, and Sam's always late to the party. Yeah, but I covered this vehicle about 9 months ago or 10 months ago with a leak video, and my initial opinions about this vehicle hasn't changed. So if you want my opinion about this tank, initially before anyone else, watch my leak videos. But this tank is basically a slower IS-3 as a premium tank with a stock D25T. Now the stock gun is upgraded in a sense by firing APCR, basically like a IS-6 firing gold shell all the time, which is pretty good. But the accuracy is crap, 0.46, and the aim time is 3.4 seconds, so Russian. And this vehicle is blind, 350 meters of view range, so yeah, it's a Russian tank. Now compared to the IS-6, this gun is a little bit better because of the penetration, but the IS-6 has preferential matchmaking, so it's up to you if you want to play which premium tank for the Russian heavy tank crew. But in my opinion, if you want to wreck face as a top tier, tier 8, the IS-3A is a little bit better because of the penetration. This gun will penetrate tier 7s reliably, like a T29 from the front. Sometimes if the IS-6 hits the spare tracks on the T29, it bounces because 175mm of penetration on the actual D25T is garbage. It's a D30, but whatever. So the penetration on the IS-6, Russian, yeah. You know it sucks, but for the IS-3A, it fires APCR and has 221mm of penetration. So that's good. The rest of the stats are pretty much the same. Weight, aim time, dispersion, rate of fire, all the same. The only difference is better penetration with APCR and better heat shells as gold shells, whereas the normal IS-6 fires APCR as a gold shell. Now there are some drawbacks to the APCR because APCR only has 2 degrees of normalization, whereas AP shells have 5. So sometimes you get trolled by shooting at a Type 59 directly at the frontal plate. It bounces, even though it's only 160mm effective. That's APCR for you. So there are a few drawbacks with shooting APCR, but it's a lot faster than the AP. So leading shots is not as tough with this vehicle. And this gun is basically the same gun on the IS-5, the Object 730. If you do not have that vehicle, this vehicle is basically it. So it's alright. But mobility wise, this vehicle only has 10.44 horsepower per ton ratio, which does feel a little bit sluggish, in my opinion. Now, I do have the normal IS-3, and this vehicle is a lot faster when I played it, so it might be the cruise skills, but I believe it's the horsepower per ton ratio. You do have a little bit more health than the normal IS-3, less horsepower per ton ratio, obviously. Top speed is a little bit faster by 2 kilometers per hour, so okay. But traverse speed, slower, so you do feel a little bit more sluggish. Hull armor is basically the same as the IS-3, with the same layout. Even the model doesn't change. As you can see, the mud flaps are dented at the same exact spot, so the hull armor is basically the same thing. The only difference is the turret. The view range is the same as the IS-3, 350 meters, but the radio is a lot better than the IS-6. The IS-6 has only 440 meters of radio coverage. Ugh. That sucks. But yeah, radio is good for artillery, but basically it's mostly pointless. Mostly. Now the armor is pretty decent on the turret. So the turret will bounce a few shots, but I do have the infamous IS-3 weak spot, which is the gun access port above the turret. So this little square or rectangle is the gun access port. It's basically overmatched by any gun with 90mm of penetration. So if your tank is a little bit taller than the IS-3, just shoot directly down into the access port for the gun and you'll penetrate. Same goes for the turret on the IS-3. So both turrets are easily penetrated. Hull armor is about 170-ish millimeters, 180-ish millimeters effective. If you do not angle it, it's about 150-ish, 160-ish if you do. So it's alright as a tier 8 heavy tank, but IS series of vehicles or heavy tanks are known for speed, and this vehicle is not. So it's a weird stepchild of the IS series. It's not that fast, and the pike-shaped nose does not really bounce that many shells. Also, if you get hit in the lower plate, this vehicle is even slower because the driver gets killed a lot of the time. So shoot the lower plate, driver gets killed. This tank is basically a T95. It does feel super sluggish. Also, the hull armor is alright, but compared to stuff like the 110, it's not as well sloped. So getting shot in the cheeks means ammo rack pretty quite often. But you do have space side armor if you want to go side scraping. And the DPM is pretty good. So as long as you hit with this D25T upgraded, D25TA, yeah, you'll do a fair amount of damage. But remember, this tank only carries 28 shells, so try not to spam that many shells. I fitted a gun rammer, vertical stabilizer, and vents. Standard. Now the crews are from different crew because it's a premium vehicle. I fitted my KV2 screw with commander, loader, commander as loader. The gunner is also the loader, and the driver. But there's no safe stowage, so do not get hit. So basically, don't look at my skills particularly, because when I played the KV2, I basically snapshot around a corner with the dirt gun. So I have snapshot on the gunner and smooth ride on the driver. For some reason, I don't know, but I don't want to change it, so whatever. But as the IS-3A, it's alright of a premium tank. Compared to the IS-6, yeah, it does penetrate a lot more often, and you do feel threatening to lower tiers, whereas the IS-6 might bounce a T-29 or Porsche Tiger or some other tanks and you feel pissed off. But the IS-3A is pretty good if it's top tier. If it's middle tier in a tier 9 matchup, hull down tactics is pretty viable with this vehicle. The turret can bounce a few shots, and 220-ish millimeters of penetration is decent enough. But against tier 10s, this is basically a regular tier 8 heavy tank. So hide behind tier 10s, hide behind tier 9s, let them take up the damage while you just sit back and try to snipe if you can. So this vehicle is pretty decent as a tier 8 heavy tank. So here are some gameplay I collected with this vehicle, and you can see how dominating it is if it's top tier. And here's the first gameplay in the IS-3A. We're on Kharkov, so a Russian map for a Russian tank. Very fitting. Now, if this vehicle is top tier, it's scary good because the penetration and the DPM. The DPM is about 2,400 or so. So it reloads every 9.66 seconds for this 122mm. If you constantly hit, this tank will wreck any tier 7s, any tier 6, and most tier 8s. So this is a scary heavy tank if it's top tier. If it's bottom tier, it's pretty alright, so like any other tier 8 heavy tanks. So yeah, it's alright, but remember, this tank is not that fast, so it's not as fast as the normal IS-3, so do not wish to go zooming around like you're playing a IS or a T10 heavy tank. It's not like that. Aim time is still long, and the accuracy is 0.46, so Russian accuracy, Russian aim time, Russian view range, but Russian gun. So we're moving up. There's a bunch of tier 6s, Japanese Tiger 1, and surprisingly, leading the shots is super easy with this APCR shell. So normally it takes too long to lead the shot and stuff happens and I miss the target, but this APCR does come in handy. So, oh, artillery broken. Alright, so moving up. Remember, the lack of a loader means no safe stowage. So if you do get penetrated on the cheeks, you will likely get ammo racked. So try not to get hit on the hull. Alright, bounce a shot from the space side armor. Unangled tank. Try to haul down and face hug, but didn't work. As you can see, the DPM is pretty good, so reloads pretty quickly. But the Tiger switched to gold shell, or was that my gold shell? I can't tell. So this tank will wreck any tier 6s. Unless I hit the tracks. Goddamn noob. But yeah. But yeah. Accuracy, Russian. The APCR does help, but it's basically faster to tell you missed with the APCR. Okay, unangled. Okay, tracks aided. So side armor aided with the NAS horn. Yeah, 200 millimeters of penetration. Yeah, Russian accuracy. Alright, we are winning, but the base is falling to a bunch of medium tanks. I'm surprised I actually hit. I was aiming at the ground. Got his tracks though. Right. DPM is pretty good. So 3 minutes in, we squeezed out 2,261 damage. That's pretty good. But it's not as fast as the IS-3. So going back to base to defend is a little bit more difficult with this vehicle. It's not as responsive as a medium tank or the IS-3, so you have to be aware of that. But the teammates does pick up the slack, so this tank is not that fast. I think the KV-5 is faster. I don't know, but 10.44 horsepower per ton ratio. Oof, that's almost I almost said it German, but I think Germans are actually like 12. Ugh. Sherman revalorise, no armor, and he hates the shot. Go chill. Alright, so yeah, 4 minutes in, 2,800 damage or so. The damage output with this vehicle is crazy good, as long as you penetrate and hit. But if you're top tier, if you're close range fighting, that's not a problem. So shout out to Diesel 10. He's playing the KV-5 with 3 marks of excellence. So he's a pretty good KV-5 player. KV-5 is the mutant, the child of the super mutant with a bunch of R2-D2s on it. But as you can see, we got penetrated with the side armor. Frontal armor got hit, but the only penetration is... Wow, actually got penetrated with the headlight? Oh, that's from the NAS horn. It's directly on the headlight. Wow, super accurate German tanks. So we're looking for that NAS horn. There he is, running away. Come back here. He shot my headlights out. Ask you for repair costs. There you go. And Crusader SP. Self-propelled gun. Oh. Always shoot at me. Always. Never gives me a break. But yeah, this vehicle, very dominating if it's top tier. So making a lot of credits is this vehicle's specialty. Training the crew is not really it because the lack of a loader. And most Russian tanks have radio operators and loaders. But yeah, the KV-5 did get an armor buff, so the rear armor did not get buffed. It was too OP, so the rear armor stays at 90 instead of 140. But that's the IS-3A for you. So super dominating. So that was the first Mastery Badge worthy gameplay I had in the IS-3A. Basically, I spotted for 2,500 damage. How did I do that? I think it was the D-track on the T-34-3 and the T-150. Maybe the Yak Panther spotted and artillery one-shot. So a bunch of damage, but this vehicle makes a lot of credits. So that's the good point. That's the strength about this vehicle. So we did the best in damage. That's good. And bounce a few shots, but this vehicle, don't depend on the armor. Do not depend on it. Most vehicles have about 150-ish to 180-ish millimeters of penetration at tier 7 and about 200-ish at tier 8. So they will go through the frontal plate or the lower plate and expect your driver to get killed a lot. But if you don't get hit and if you use corners, this tank is pretty good. So on to the next gameplay. And here's another good gameplay I had in the IS-3A. So we're on El Haluf. It's a desert hilly-ish map, so it's not that particularly good for Russian or Chinese tanks because of the lack of a gun depression. So you have to make use of unorthodox haul-down tactics with rocks or their teammates as cover. Now this tank is not that slow, even though it has lower horsepower per ton ratio than the normal IS-3. So only 10.44. But as you can see, going down a hill, this tank is faster than the Tiger II, the FV201, A45 Faturian, the Carnarvon, pre-Carnarvon, whatever you call it. So the top speed is 40 kilometers per hour, but it can never reach it on a flat ground because the engine, it's only 520 horsepower. Whereas the normal engine for the IS-3 is 700. And as you can see, we do have a comparison with the normal IS-3. Going down a hill, you do seem a little bit faster. That's because the top speed. But going up a hill, the normal IS-3 has 700 horsepower. So therefore, he revs up and goes uphill a lot better than we do. That's because of the horsepower per ton ratio. So he's going to overtake us pretty easily right now. So that's the speed comparison for you. But the hull armor is pretty much the same. The turret is mostly the same, so he has better accuracy with the BL9 though, and better aim time, better penetration too, but less DPM. So T25/2, get punched twice. Still pissed off about the glitch for 9.13 in the replays. So if I auto aim, the reticle stopped moving, and that sucks. But yeah, as you can see there, it's sometimes not the best to be the fastest because artillery. So the IS-3 get pummeled from like 2 artilleries. Alright, IS-6, hit him in the cupola. You could penetrate the turret front with this gun's penetration, but it's not worth to risk it. Cupola again. Alrighty. 110 is very hard to penetrate because the sloping of the armor. Oh, trying to side scrape. Gold shell from the IS-6, okay. No IS-3, no, that's the IS-3A, okay. So gold shell from the 110, make note. Don't get penetrated. The accuracy. Shooting on the move is not a strength of this vehicle. So gold shell from the 110, take note. Space side armor, gold shell again. Alright, so he is firing gold on every target. So we have to not rely on armor and rely on the hill to cover. He's gonna penetrate us. On angle, there we go. Okay. Alright, my teammates get slaughtered. Alright, they're flanking around, but I'm by myself, and this is a very dangerous position. So I'm using my teammates as unorthodox haul down tactics. He's side scraping, but he forgets to cover up the frontal plate, and if you don't angle it, the frontal plate is not that good. So that's the weakness about pike nose armor. If you unangle it, it's not that effective. We penetrated the cupola. The 110 has pretty good pike nose armor, but the turret has a gigantic cupola or 2 on top. Alright. Does he use gold on shield? Okay, he's out of gold ammo, looks like, but he still penetrates the front. Space armor again, Sam. The gun depression prevents me from aiming lower. Alright, thank you 110 for blocking a shot. That's awesome. Kill him! Sam, you hit the space side armor again. You noob. God damn it. Alright, we do reload faster, so alright, fine. Shoot below the armor, below the space side armor. Oh. Okay, normal shell. I was unangled, or I was angled, and therefore defective armor was not good. So, my mistake. Alright. I guess we lost all heavy tanks behind us. Oh boy. Alright. 3 heavy tanks left. We have a SU-152. Alright. Now, remind you, or I'll remind you, 5 minutes in, we dealt 3,000 damage. So the DPM output for this vehicle is very good if you have targets. If you constantly have targets, the 152 has a 152mm, doesn't have the 122. So, Autoloader, low damage roll, artillery splash, nice. The 152 wants a hit. Okay, that's from artillery. Take care of the Porsche Tiger being constantly detracted. There's a Romtel Borsig behind us. I was like, oh crap. We got detracted. I used the repair kit on my gun. So, crap lord. I got detracted again. Alright. Romtel Borsig looks like he has the 150mm because of the damage output on the 152. Right, he hits the turret. He has the big old derp gun. And therefore dealt 600 damage to the SU-152. But unorthodox side scraping bounced that shot with the turret. Now there are 3 artilleries on the opponent's team, and this is an artillery angle or spot. So if I go out of this rock position, artillery will hit me. I noticed that. So I noticed that our team is circling the opponent's spawn right now, and I do not want the artillery to shoot at me. So I'm a one-shot kill, but I'm waiting on these light tanks and tank destroyers to spot the artillery to distract them so I can go out. And there you can see artillery tried to hit me. And poke out. Ah, he bounced. I missed. But I reload faster, so go for it, go for it, go for it. He has a derp gun. He's trying to ram me. Come on, man. I'm going to Borsig. I did not notice I was running out of shells, so I fire a heat shell into a Romtel Borsig. What a waste. Alright, 2 artilleries left. Load high explosive. Where's the Lorraine? He can one-shot us. But where is he? Holy crap, he's behind us. So he's coming, he's coming. Can I turn this vehicle around? Only 26 degrees of traverse per second. Artillery hit, artillery miss. Almost kills me in the process. But oh, he dogged it. And I did not penetrate with the high explosive. He tried to ram me. Really? But yeah, almost 5,000 damage dealt in about a 8-minute spread. So that's a pretty good game, right? But this armor could hold up if you know how to use it. So you have to take unorthodox cover behind teammates who are dead and use them as meat shields if you can. Also take notice of artillery positions, and artillery love to shoot at heavy tanks as always. So, but once you take care of all of that, this tank is pretty dominating if it's top tier. Just remember, hide the hull armor if you can, because the lack of a loader. And lack of a loader means no safe stowage. So I got away luckily, if nobody shots my cheeks and penetrated. But that was a good game. And here's that match with IS-3A. So we bounced a lot of shots because I was angling pretty well, and I was making use of my teammates as cover, mostly the T-32 who got killed. But that's what you have to do. And the damage output for this vehicle is pretty high. So once you get to penetrate and not shoot the space side armor, you will do a lot of damage. and save yourself from health loss because you can outshoot and out DPM your opponents. But yeah, that 3 shots or 2 on the IS-3A space side armor, that was just sloppy. Ugh. But we did a lot of damage and therefore a lot of credits. So that's awesome. But as you can see, we made a lot of credits, about 100,000 credits if I did a little bit better and did not use a high explosive anti-tank on the Ramtel Borsig. It's pretty quick to use up 28 shells, but it's better than the IS-6 because of the penetration. So yeah, that 1 heat shell was unnecessary and cost me a lot of credits, but whatever. So yeah, and I have a final game with the IS-3A in a tier 10 matchup just to show you how okay-ish it performs, how mediocre. So here it is. Alright, I couldn't find my tier 10 IS-3A matchup, so we'll do it live like I used to do. So here's I guess a good match, 72% chance to win. That's pretty good. But let's not slack behind everybody else and depend on everybody. So we'll do our fair share of damage if we can. We're playing on Mountain Pass. I hate this map with a passion. It's so corridory. Corridory? Ugh. But this vehicle is not that fast to cross the open fields right here. So we'll try to manage. Now it's very hard. I'll remind you, it's very hard to commentate and shoot and think at the same time. But we'll manage. We'll manage. We have a bunch of T110 E5s. Okay. A lot of medium tanks. Alright. They have a bunch of heavy tank destroyers. Oh boy. And a few other tanks. Okay. If I die crossing this field. Oh no, I'm not crossing this field. There's a STB-1. No. There's a Conqueror gun carriage also. No, we're not that fast. I'm not stupid. So we're going to snipe. Let's see how well we do against these tier 10 medium tanks. Surprise, motherfucker! What? Oh, I love live commentaries because so bad. Got him in the tracks, artillery nailed him. Oh man. You don't spot with a tier 10 medium tank on this map. You spot with light tanks. Oh, but yeah, that D-track, hilarious. Now this vehicle has only 350 meters of view range, so I'm not going to spot. There's a tortoise, there's a yak panther. Now I have to go towards a lemming train, otherwise I get singled out from these tank destroyer or the T110 E5 that's coming. So I signal to my team, let them know, get into this ditch. Come on, come on, come on. Come on. So we're moving, we're moving. We have a STI, a TVP 5051, watching the bridge. But yeah, if your team's lemming train to one side, you follow. You do not stay behind, otherwise you get picked off. Very simple detail. There's a T110 E4. Just lemming train like the rest. You are in a tier 8, in a tier 10 matchup. I'm constantly looking at the map, and this is a kill zone for artillery that's camping right here. Alright, we have a bunch of tank destroyers moving here. The TVP is below the bridge, I believe. Yeah, he's underneath the bridge, so he's not going to shoot at these heavy tank destroyers. The Yak Panzer shot the artillery, what the frick? Okay. We are winning, but not that much. Okay, there's a bunch of tank destroyers on the bridge. We have a few medium tanks covering, so that's good. There's a tortoise, I'm moving up. Now, do not clusterfuck if you can. So do not just try to fight for spots with the tier 10 heavy tanks. So let them work. When they die, you go in and finish up if you can. There's a Waffenträger Panzer 4. Oh, T30 is not poking out. Oh, we're winning a lot. Never mind. Alright, let's go kill stuff. There's AMX-50B, our Tiger 2. Our 110 is below 10%. Same goes for T62A. Alright, we have 2 of them. Alright, poke up. Do the best now. Have a bunch of tank destroyers camping here, so we'll try to support. Oh crap, 110 died. 2 tier 10s on below 10% health. Totally fired. Shooting on the move sucks. He's reloading. Don't panic.
Target unlocked.
Do not panic in this situation. Take cover first. He's reloading. Okay, do not let him hit your... Move up, move down, jiggle around. There you go. Autoloaders, hate them. Move up, move down, try to jiggle out the shots. Alright, tortoise. Slow turtle. Come on. There is artillery. Or he's dead. Never mind. Shoot the... Damn it. So this is basically how each and every tier 10 matchup you play in a IS-3A or a tier 8 heavy tank. You basically hide behind tier 10s. And if one autoloader gets at you, try not to get ammo racked. Oh, nice leopard. But yeah, that's basically how tier 10 matchups go. You try to hide behind a bunch of heavy tanks and other tanks and play like a coward because you're a tier 8. Now, do not always be a coward. If you have to reset, go reset. But we got a spot on the STB-1, so that's a nice shot. But shooting on the move is not that accurate, so... Oh, but yeah, let's see how well we do with just one tracking shot on an STB. Holy crap, we did not... What is wrong with this game? You see how... Okay, we shot twice into a 50B. Alright, we didn't even shoot twice. Somebody else killed him. I thought we killed him. Never mind. I look stupid. So basically, we only shot twice. Hit the STB, detract him for 1,600 damage. And somehow, I'm top 3 on my team. So as you can see, there's literally nothing to do to make yourself that much XP in a tier 10 matchup. I literally do squat in that game. 2 shots, but detracking. Okay, I guess the detracking shot on the STB was pretty good, but that was funny. That was not like commendable, I guess, but holy crap. That was just stupid. Only 700 damage and I'm top 3. What is going on? So the IS-3A is a fairly decent heavy tank. Now, do I recommend it if you're new to the game? Well, it's a little bit slower. So it's slower than the IS-3. So getting used to it is a problem. And the lack of a loader means you do not have safe stowage perk. Safe stowage is a must on most Russian, actually a must on every vehicle, unless you're playing artillery. But the IS-3 is known for getting ammo racked because the ammo rack is located right here and right here on the cheeks. And it's very easy to penetrate the hull armor right here and right here. So yeah, getting ammo racked is quite frequent on this vehicle, and try to hide it if you can. Now some people will say just train safe stowage on your loader or on your commander or gunner, but why waste the spot when you can train stuff like, I don't know, snapshot or recon or something. So yeah, lack of a loader does mean you have to take more risk of not trying to get your vehicle ammo racked. But this tank is good at making credits. So we did nothing the last round. Absolutely nothing. Just 2 shots. I thought I killed the 50B. I didn't. But only 2 shots and we made 40,000 credits and spent like 10,000 on shells. So we did nothing. Absolutely zero. And that's 30,000 credits. with a normal account. Super easy, right? So we do it live. Screw it, we do it live. But yeah, this vehicle, pretty decent. If you can buy it without a bundle, it's a deal. Now, I do recommend if you're using this vehicle as a crew trainer, not use this vehicle as a crew trainer, so I do not recommend it. But if you're making credits, it's pretty good. If it's top tier, if it's bottom tier, hide behind tier 10s. If you want a more crew experience trainer vehicle, I recommend the IS-6 before they remove it as a preferential premium tank. But yeah, the IS-3A, not that bad. Credit maker, assault harasser if it's top tier, pretty decent. And thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.